Reconnect and heal today. Welcome to Love Never Dies with Dr. Jamie Turndorf.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Love Never Dies on Dream Vision 7 radio network that broadcasts in 136 countries. And Dr. Turndorf, turn on the love on Binge Network's television that's on every smart TV anywhere in the world. So, did you know that over-exercising can shorten your lifespan? Today, we're going to talk about what causes us to over-exercise and how you can know if your exercise regime is wearing you down and harming your health. What are the symptoms of going too far and why it might be hard for you to taper back, specifically what the brain gets out of over-exercise that causes us to override other safety mechanisms and warning signals. Did you know beyond addictions to gambling, sex, food, drugs, alcohol, all the addictions, it's easy to become addicted to exercise. So today you're going to learn about the mechanisms that drive us to fall into addictive behaviors and how to reverse this pattern before you crash and burn. I'm really happy to introduce you to someone I respect and admire very much, Sandy Sanderson. Sandy is a brilliant medical researcher who I have come to know since her first appearance on the show back in July. She knows more about how the body works on a cellular level than any MD, homeopath, or naturopath I've ever known. And I really respect her and admire her. She is the founder and CEO of Electromagnesium, which has been in operation since 2008. She has a bachelor's of arts, post-grad studies in business and marketing, but she's a perfect example of someone who is able to be self-educated and know more than the top docs. She was publisher of This Month on the Gold Coast magazine from 1998 to 2009. And it was her own health crisis in 2008 that resulted from years of stress overload and shift working as a magazine publisher that made her discover that magnesium deficiency was the primary cause of her stress-related diseases. Without enough magnesium, cell metabolism and recovery is diminished. And transdermal magnesium really helps Sandy to recover from her heart arrhythmia and other symptoms of Hashimoto's hypothyroidism. And it's become a mission for her now to really help everyone in the world overcome the global epidemic of magnesium deficiency. And this same deficiency was the primary cause and cure for not only her illnesses, but also is the cure for the major illnesses that plague the world today. So before I get on and on, telling you how much I love Sandy and all she's done, just say hi to Sandy. Hiya, Sandy.
Hi, Jamie. Thanks for having me on board.
It's so great to have you. You know, I had a little bit of a stress reaction because I thought, maybe our times aren't in sync because you're coming to us live at 3 a.m. in the morning, Australia time. So I started to freak for a minute. Maybe our times are off. And I thought, wait a minute, I better get some magnesium and spray it on me because I can feel myself getting stressed out. It doesn't take much, you know.
I know it's not easy. And for me, being 3 a.m., well, I had to set the alarm for 2:30. And since midnight, I was waking up every half an hour. Is it time yet? Is it time yet? Even though I had set the alarm, because my own adrenaline was starting to pump, you know. So I wasn't really getting a good sleep.
Oh, I feel bad that so you're coming on and doing the live show.
So I'm all pumped.
Taxing you, and then you need the magnesium in order to combat the adrenaline and the cortisol rush. You know?
Yes, so that's part of my daily regime. I get up, put all my magnesium pre-moisturizer on all over my body. It's like, putting on a comfort blanket. As soon as you've got it on, it's like
Exactly. So since we're talking about exercise addiction today, and it's kind of a puzzle that we're going to roll out for people where we explain the puzzle. So before we talk about what an addiction to exercise looks like and its horrible side effects, let's just talk for a second about what are the benefits of regular, moderate exercise. So people hear, that and see that.
Yes, I think most people know that exercise is actually very healthy for you, and we should all have moderate exercise because it helps you get more oxygen into the brain. It exercises your muscles, so your muscles get trained to stay firm and strong. It's only through exercise that you strengthen muscle, which is why we have gyms and training and lots of exercise places for people to go. When you train if you don't use it, you lose it. So the less you do, your body thinks, oh, well, you don't really need all that strong muscle. We'll just make it a little bit weaker to suit your lifestyle. So if you sit at the computer for long periods of time, you have a sedentary lifestyle, you don't, work very hard, you can become very unfit. And of course, you're not using the energy often that you consume in your diet, and you can gain a lot of weight, which causes often a lot of other health problems. We also need to exercise to move our arms and legs, to move the lymph system. The lymph system doesn't have its own separate pump like the heart does. The heart pumps the blood. The lymph system is a protein waste disposal system. So it lets out at certain glands, such as under the arms, around the groin. It kind of goes around the middle of the body. And that's where you tend to perspire mostly from. And that's where, when you perspire out wastes and water and salts, electrolytes. And if the liver, funnily enough, if the liver isn't doing as well as it should be, if it's somehow compromised, we tend to let more waste products out through the skin. It's like another organ of excretion. So we really need to look after the lymph. We need to take out the rubbish and get rid of all our waste products as best we can. And exercise and perspiration and all of that train the heart. The heart, of course, is the most important muscle to the body. So it's not just the muscles in your arms and legs, but we need to train our heart to be strong. If our heart muscle is strong, we don't need to beat as much or as fast to get a good amount of oxygen flowing through the body. So training is important, but then you want to make sure that you're doing the right amount, because we can also overdo it. So that's what this is all about. Who'd have thought you could have too much exercise?
Right. And there's two other things that you say. It also strengthens your bones, and especially if you're doing resistance exercises, and it's an antidote to depression in moderation.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, absolutely, because the extra oxygen in the brain and the blood circulation. And also the brain releases endorphins, which are like a feel-good natural brain chemical. And we can get exercise high. So after you get your run in and you get get going into that, if you're running or bicycling or whatever exercise it is, you start to feel really good and elated and lifted. So it's a really good antidote for depression. In fact, a lot of depression is actually related to magnesium deficiency and also lack of oxygen, the two things combining. So your metabolism drops. Depression is really a lack of oxygen, a lack of energy in the brain. So brain is a big consumer of energy. And when we don't have enough metabolism, don't have enough energy, everything gets slow and sluggish. If you think about it, it takes a lot of energy to be happy. So if you can take your mind back to, oh, I'm so happy. What do you feel like doing? You feel like jumping up and down, like, running around the block 1,000 times. You're so happy. And it takes a lot of energy. If you don't have the energy, it's like, I don't feel like doing anything. You just become lethargic. You just don't have any motivation. So exercise helps put us back on the track of getting our energy levels up and our excitement, and that makes it very easy to be happy.
Yeah, that's good. Now let's talk about addiction, because when you think about addiction, most people think about like the statistics, the National Survey on Drug Use and Health. 19.7 million Americans aged 12 and older have battled a substance abuse. This was as of 2017. 23.5 million Americans are addicted to alcohol and drugs. So we don't tend to think about exercise addiction, except when we're talking about eating disorders and how people will become addicted to try to regulate weight and through the body dysmorphic disorders and so on. But some people do get addicted to excessive exercise, and they're not doing it as part of an eating disorder. So you want to talk about how that happens?
Yeah, so I talked about endorphins before, and so these are feel-good chemicals that we can actually get addicted to, and it's the same kind of like a dopamine. If you've heard of people talking about dopamine, so that's a natural brain chemical associated with just the feeling of feeling good when we enjoy doing something. So, you know, you might enjoy dancing, or you might enjoy a hobby. I don't know, knitting, painting, whatever thing that you like to do, your body's producing endorphins with that, or dopamine when you like doing that. So we keep going back. So it's the anticipation of that nice event, going out to a restaurant, whatever thing that you look forward to doing, your body starts to produce the endorphin even in anticipation of it. And so we tend to go back seeking that same activity, because the endorphins then trigger more of a adrenaline increase, which gives us the energy. It's like a little bit of a revving up, getting ready for it, getting excited for it. And people like the rush of that natural brain chemical. And so when we like doing the exercise because it gives us joy, and if we have the opportunity, we can keep going back to it to do it more and more and more. So this can affect elite athletes too, but more so recently with lockdowns and with the COVID situation. People have a lot of time on their hands, and they have a lot more flexibility in their time, and any opportunity to get outside, because they're allowed to exercise outside. During the severe lockdown conditions, they're still allowed to exercise. So it's an opportunity to get out and about and do something. So they tend to do it more. And then they go, oh, I really like that. Let's do it again. Any opportunity, and again, and again, and again. And we get into the cycle of more and more and more. But what happens during the exercise when the endorphins are released, it's a kind of a pain numbing chemical, and we don't feel often when we might be doing some damage if we've gone too far, if we've hurt your shins, if you've got shin splints, if you've done some damage. We don't always feel that damage. And then when it's time to relax and come down, if we don't have enough magnesium, we can't actually go through the relaxation phase. We can't actually recover long enough. But the brain remembers, oh, I felt really good when I was exercising. I want to go back, and do some more. And we kind of get into an overload where the body isn't recovering enough. We're scooping too much from the bottom of the barrel. It's not rebuilt the reserves yet. And then if you keep scooping and scooping, eventually you get very low in magnesium, which can cause other quite severe health issues. And so I just wanted to, I've written some articles recently, and that kind of triggered the podcast to try and help people become more mindful about pacing yourself. So even elite athletes know that to win the race and to get the stamina and to get to the end, you need to kind of learn periods of relaxation, learn how to just relax into it, learn how to allow your body to rebuild its resources so that you can then give it another really good push, and you're not draining all of your resources to perhaps maybe cause some damage.
So what I'm thinking is, you were talking about the endorphins, and we know that you can become addicted to endorphins like the runner's high, and that we have statistics of runners who get injured and can't exercise and commit suicide from the incredible loss of endorphins and the depression that results. So now I want to switch and talk about the dopamine, because the dopamine is so addictive. It's more addictive than cocaine. So, even if you want to say to yourself, oh my gosh, I've got to lean back, I've got to rest, I've got to rejuvenate. When you become addicted to that dopamine rush, it's like the dopamine is driving your bus, right?
Yes, and often, so this relates a little bit to the issue I had about 12 years ago. It wasn't exactly this, but I had with the Hashimoto's, with the hypothyroid, and a lot of people have an underperforming thyroid these days. A lot of it's caused by excessive fluoride in the environment, in the water, in the food supply, in medications, and fluoride is a direct suppressant of the thyroid. And if we don't have enough mechanisms or the right nutrition for the body to clean itself out, that builds up. So about 50% is excreted and the rest is stored in the bones and the calcified tissue of the body. So magnesium and fluoride counter one another, they're antagonistic. So when they meet up in the body, the fluoride binds up your magnesium and it robs you of the little bit of magnesium that you might have. Now, magnesium is the most important mineral to the body. It's the master mineral, directly related to metabolism and energy production and the electrical energy production of the body, because the mitochondria have to have magnesium to make ATP. So that's adenosine triphosphate, which is an electrical energy molecule. So these are our little tiny micro battery packs. So we make ATPs and use them and cycle through it very quickly. And then we have some spares that get stored in the cell, usually in the cell membrane as backup. So when we go and do exercise, the body then pulls from these reserves, from these stores, so that you don't run out of puff too soon. And so the more little ATP battery packs you have stored, which depends on your level of magnesium, the more you can sustain that longer exercise. But if you don't have enough, you run out of puff very quickly. And so that's all related to metabolism and to energy. And so what I was experiencing, even though it wasn't from excessive exercise, I had a different kind of stress. So any kind of stress can make you lose a lot of magnesium: emotional, physical stress, chemical stress. Environmental stress, if you're working even in an environment, an industrial environment where there's a lot of EMFs or a lot of electrical activity around you, a lot of dirty electricity, high levels of noise, anything that can aggravate you or stress you, even a background noise, will start to erode away your magnesium, because to deal with the stress, the body has to push the metabolism up and every time your metabolism goes up to deal with something, you're churning through the magnesium. The blood level of magnesium goes up temporarily, and then your kidneys make you wee it out. So we tend to lose excessive amounts of magnesium under stress by the urine, and we can't put enough back from the food supply alone because it's very depleted today. We have very low magnesium in the soils compared to 50 years ago. And also there's food processing and a lot of reasons why we by the time we get to eat the food, it's lower and lower and lower magnesium. So if you need high amounts, and there's a high demand with exercise, a high demand of magnesium because it's a big stressor to the body. We need more than what the food often is giving us. And so then your doctor or your health practitioner, you might be told to take extra magnesium because you'll feel, oh, I've got some extra cramps. I can't get rid of my cramps. So take magnesium. And it does help people in the beginning when they have a slight magnesium deficiency, because the supplements, the tablets and powders are difficult to digest and absorb. A little bit gets through, but not really a lot. Most of what you ingest actually ends up in the toilet because the gut has to be able to digest those magnesium tablets and powders, the different forms. You have to have enough stomach acid to digest it. Then you have to get it through the bowel wall. Studies have shown the bowel wall can only take a very low dilution, such as what would be in mineral water, spring waters, or foods. As soon as they increase the titrated upwards, the concentration of magnesium, more and more was being expelled by the digestive system. So there's a sort of a zone that allows magnesium through the gut wall. It's quite sensitive, and you may have experienced tablets or powders giving you diarrhea. Well, so that's the side effect. And you may need more magnesium, but then you can't get as much in as you need through the digestive system. So what we found, and other researchers have found, I didn't discover it, I discovered what other researchers have found. You can get a lot more magnesium through the skin using a certain type of magnesium, which is magnesium chloride, which is highly water soluble, and it doesn't need to be digested. So inside the cell, we have the majority of electrolytes are potassium, magnesium, and chloride. So the magnesium chloride dissolved in water is already in the right form for cells to take up very easily and quickly. You don't have to digest it, and it goes in fast through the skin in a very self-regulating way, so you can never overdose that way. But it allows your body to choose from a smorgasbord, choose from your skin actually what it needs to take up. So it's really efficient and quite safe, and safe enough for babies and children, for elderly, for all age groups. But particularly because this segment is about sport people or athletic people, people who do a lot of exercise, it's pretty well impossible to put back all the magnesium you're spending from your magnesium bank account with just food alone or just supplements alone, especially also if you drink a lot of those protein drinks. Because guess what? You need magnesium to synthesize proteins. And proteins include enzymes, hormones. So hormones like your melatonin when you sleep at night, any kind of hormones are actual proteins that your body needs magnesium to actually manufacture. And collagen and elastin, which is the framework that holds your body together. They're all like your skin, your bones, your nails, hair. That's the integumentary system of the body, is made of collagen cages. Like, it's a structure that holds you together. And this thing that makes you stretchy.
Hold the point, because we got to take a break. Hold it where you're with the collagen holding your cells and membranes together. We'll just hold the point because we got to take a break. Be back with you in a moment. Okay. On Love Never Dies Radio and Dr. Turndorf, Turn on the Love on Binge Networks TV.
Hi, it's Dr. J.B. Turndorf here. Are you feeling stressed, tense, jumpy, jittery, anxious, or having panic attacks or angry outbursts or disturbed sleep? Are you worried that you or someone you love is going to get sick or even die? Are you depressed and feeling hopeless, like the world is coming to an end? Or are you suffering aches and pains or stiff muscles, low energy, or falling into self-damaging or addictive behaviors like binging on junk food, the internet, or TV, or abusing drugs or alcohol, or not eating right, or exercising, feeling like, what's the point? If you said yes to any of my questions, you are likely suffering what I call the global PTSD pandemic stress syndrome triggered by the coronavirus pandemic. Don't despair. My energetic system upgrade is your rescue remedy for the panic epidemic that is plaguing our world. The energetic system upgrade has already helped some of today's top leaders. Now you can experience your own energetic system upgrade healing transformation. To find out more and to schedule your session, visit drjamieturndorf.com/energetic system upgrade. That's Dr. Jamie Turndorf, TURNDORF.com/energetic system upgrade.
Love Never Dies is now on the Dream Vision 7 radio network every Wednesday and Thursday at 1 p.m. and 1 a.m. Eastern Time. Dr. Jamie Turndorf, also known as Dr. Love, is the #1 international best-selling author of Love Never Dies, How to Reconnect and Make Peace with the Deceased. If you're grieving the loss of a loved one, tune in and find out how to reconnect and heal any unfinished business using Dr. Turndorf's groundbreaking new Dialoguing with the Departed technique. Visit AskDrLove.com to find out more.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.
Bob, I've lost the audio feed.
Hey, so sorry, Jamie. You can proceed.
Just go back into our second segment. Hey, everybody, welcome back to Love Never Dies on Dream Vision 7 Radio Network and Dr. Turndorf, Turn on the Love on Binge Networks Television. So I'm talking with my dear Sandy Sanderson, founder and CEO of Electromagnesium. We're talking about how excessive exercise depletes you of magnesium and how you can get around the depletion by using transdermal magnesium. Of course, I'm recommending her particular electromagnesium because it's the purest and the most potent on the planet. And I've been telling people for the last couple of years, I don't sell it. I'm not a distributor. I'm not an affiliate. I don't make commissions. This has really become my mission to share this message with as many people as I can, because I know that every disease and condition is really a magnesium deficiency in disguise, and that we can reverse all these quote unquote diseases and conditions with the proper supplementation. So we were talking about how the mitochondria and the cells of the body all require magnesium. You were going into that technical discussion before we took the break. Yeah.
Yes. So we were talking about the collagen structures being proteins, and the first level that you might get a sign that you have magnesium deficiency are increasing levels of cramps or pain and inflammation, or slowness to recover from injury. You might find that you become more fatigued. You start to get training fatigue. You might get calcifications forming in your ligaments, and muscles that should be stretchy start to become very tight, because, as I said before, the magnesium is used to make your elastin proteins as well, which makes everything stretchy and flexible. And how magnesium works is it brings moisture and hydration into the cell. And the lower the magnesium gets, the more leaky the cell membrane, so it depolarizes. Everything is an electrical charge in the body. So for a healthy cell, we need inside the potassium, the magnesium, and the chloride. And the outside of the cell is mostly sodium and calcium. And so the difference in charges hold that cell membrane together. And so if you have a drop in magnesium, which is like the guardian of your cell membranes and the charge of the membrane, it starts to become weaker and more leaky, and it leaks out the water. And then the channels open up bigger, and the calcium and the sodium moves in to overstimulate the muscle. And calcium is causes contractions. So that's why calcium in the bone helps the bone become harder. But without the other minerals, by the way, calcium can make bones also brittle. So there's always a group of minerals that come together in the bones. We'll get to the bones in a minute. But what happens is when the cells start to dehydrate, it causes a contraction and you get an involuntary muscle cramp. It's the magnesium that needs to come back in, bringing the water with it, that helps the muscle fibers, the cells, to reinflate, to go back to normal. And that's what causes a relaxation phase. So we have calcium contracting and magnesium relaxing. And what causes also the magnesium to move out is a rise in adrenaline and cortisol. So your stress hormones cause the magnesium to come out, the calcium to move in, and everything to contract, and for you to be tense and ready for the fight or the flight. So these natural mechanisms, if you have plenty of magnesium, it should just go in and out very quickly. You should expand and contract, and you should have no issues. It should all rebalance itself very quickly in the body But what happens is magnesium drops lower and lower, you lose your rebalancing system. So you can stay in a stuck zone and stay in that really tight, oh, I'm really tight, I can't relax. My all the muscles, people have gone to chiropractors because their back gets out because the muscles actually pull everything out of alignment. And we have, by the way, a lot of chiropractors in our wholesale group that love to use the products, because, and osteopaths as well, and massage therapists, because they've discovered that by relaxing the muscles first with plenty of magnesium allows them then to do their other therapies much more successfully, and with faster results and more longer lasting results as well. So everything is about getting the balance back with the magnesium and putting back into our magnesium bank account what we lose under the stress. And if you can do that successfully, you can train your body well, you can rebuild it well, because you've got plenty of magnesium during the relaxation phase, during your sleeping phase. Your body's rebuilding, it's rebuilding its tissue, it's cleaning out the garbage, it's taking out waste products from the cell. All of that requires energy, which requires magnesium, and all of that rebuilding happens during your sleeping time. And then that's another problem. When you have magnesium deficiency, you can't get into a deep enough sleep to recover and relax. And so what happens is that there's a seesaw effect with the stress hormones. And when you go into a deep sleep, your stress hormones need to subside very, very low. And then the pineal gland is triggered in your deep sleep to then make more melatonin. So melatonin is another hormone, which is a protein which needs magnesium to be made, but also your conditions need to be good for sleeping. So you can't be overstimulated, because every time there's a stimulation, it pushes your adrenaline up, which blocks the melatonin production. So you need to make sure that you're not getting any stimulating light in through the windows, and you're not sleeping next to your phone charging, because the electrical fields are actually overstimulating and can block the production of the melatonin. So nice and quiet and dark is a good environment for sleeping. And also, if you have a good foot soak with the magnesium before bed, or a bath or a foot soak is fine, a good half an hour before bed, helps your body to soak up magnesium, very calming for the heart. And skin is an excretory organ, as we mentioned before. With perspiration, you can also release waste products through the skin through the soaking. So that's an extra benefit for soaking. I like to do about 2 or 3 a week on my most strenuous days. So if you've had a really grueling day, you've really burnt the candle at both ends and you feel super exhausted, that's a time to have a really lovely magnesium soak. It's very reviving, helps you move into a very deep sleep stage, very relaxed. And then you wake up more fresh the next day, because if your body goes into a deep sleep, it's had its good clean out. Melatonin is a powerful antioxidant. It helps to clean the brain up of waste products, because your brain is like a really big muscle, actually, because it consumes a lot of energy, huge amounts of energy. If you've seen the scans, when they do scans on a video, it's like lightning going on in the brain, lots and lots of electrical activity. The brain also uses about half of your water supply. So water and minerals are necessary for your electricity, your electrical conductivity in the body. So the brain uses a lot of water and magnesium. And when it's in its deep rest sleep stage, it's also rebuilding. So all of the muscle cells that you've used that day, when you push your body hard and you train, you do a lot of exercise, you're actually creating tiny little micro tears in the muscle fibers, which need repairing. So then the messages go from the muscles, the pain and the lactic acid, all the things that have been generated during the exercise, tell the brain, oh, there's repairs, I've got to take the rubbish out, dissipate the lactic acid, send new material to rebuild the cells in that area, and next time build it stronger, because that was like some heavy exercise, and those muscles need to be better prepared and stronger for the next time. So this is how we train. But without the proper rest, without the proper nutrition, the body can't build and repair properly to defend itself and to prepare for the next big exercise event or the next big stress for the muscles. So then you can start to actually wear your muscles down and do the opposite to what you want to do, is build up. So what the body needs to do is have these proper exercise and rest cycles, and then you can go on to a really good training program, which is very beneficial for the heart, and everything gets rebuilt properly the way it needs to be rebuilt to be stronger and fitter, and also very good for your immune system and your bones and your resistance training. So the bones also benefit because when you have plenty of magnesium, it helps bring the calcium into the bones to make the bones stronger. Then you add the resistance exercise and it builds strength into the bones. So when people get diseases like osteopenia, osteoporosis, it's a sign that the calcium is leaching out of the bones and tends to settle in the soft tissue and joints. So I don't know if you've noticed elderly people with osteoporosis, they tend to have a lot of calcification in the soft tissue, the joints, the muscles, the ligaments, everything's creaky and tight. You know, we age prematurely when this calcium starts to settle in the soft tissue and joints, and it can settle in the arteries of the heart. So if your calcium settles in the arteries, they're like hoses that become stiff. And as the blood tries to pump through, the stiffness of those arterial walls creates a higher pressure, which is a higher blood pressure. So all of that cascade can come from chronic magnesium deficiency over time. It can lead to high blood pressure, cardiovascular disease, a complete breakdown over time, and premature aging. So we can actually age ourselves faster if we overstress our body and we don't put those resources back in so the body can replenish properly. And I can't emphasize enough how important magnesium is, even to high-end athletes, probably even more so because you stress your body so much. How often do you hear of someone who's a triathlete, who does like very excessive exercise, fit, got the six-pack on the front, muscly, like when you look at them, you go, oh, they are the epitome of fitness and health. And then they're in a massive marathon and they can actually have a heart attack in the middle of that marathon run. What causes, it's called a cardiac arrest. It's just the heart stops. But that person's been training so well, is so fit. There's no blockages in the arteries. It's not a heart attack that you might get if you have heart blockages where the lining of the arteries can get calcium deposits, and then on top of it, the body piles up blobs of cholesterol fat that eventually narrow and narrow the artery, and those blockages can cause a heart attack. Or you could get a stroke. You could get blood getting thicker and clotting up with fibers. All of those issues are not what that athlete would have had. The athlete would have had a good free-flowing blood, but then just lost enough magnesium to generate the electrical signals to keep the heart pumping. Because think of your heart that's got to pump 24/7. It's like never really should stop our whole lifetime. Every time your heart beats, it's using up magnesium.
All right, we've got to take a break. We've got to hold on. We've got to just stop our pumping for 1 second. We'll take a break. We'll be back in a moment.
it's Dr. JV Turndorf here. Are you feeling stressed, tense, jumpy, jittery, anxious, or having panic attacks or angry outbursts or disturbed sleep? Are you worried that you or someone you love is going to get sick or even die? Are you depressed and feeling hopeless like the world is coming to an end? Or are you suffering aches and pains or stiff muscles, low energy, or falling into self-damaging or addictive behaviors like binging on junk food, the internet, or TV, or abusing drugs or alcohol, or not eating right, or exercising, feeling like what's the point? If you said yes to any of my questions, you are likely suffering what I call the global PTSD pandemic stress syndrome triggered by the coronavirus pandemic. Don't despair. My energetic system upgrade is your rescue remedy for the panic epidemic that is plaguing our world. The energetic system upgrade has already helped some of today's top leaders. Now you can experience your own energetic system upgrade healing transformation. To find out more and to schedule your session, visit drjamieturndorf.com/energetic system upgrade. That's Dr. Jamie Turndorf, TURNDORF.com/energetic system upgrade.
Love Never Dies is now on the Dream Vision 7 radio network every Wednesday and Thursday at 1 p.m. and 1 a.m. Eastern Time. Dr. Jamie Turndorf, also known as Dr. Love, is the #1 international best-selling author of Love Never Dies, How to Reconnect and Make Peace with the Deceased. If you're grieving the loss of a loved one, tune in and find out how to reconnect and heal any unfinished business using Dr. Turndorf's groundbreaking new Dialoguing with the Departed technique. Visit AskDrLove.com to find out more.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.
You're listening to Love Never Dies with Dr. Jamie Turndorf. If you can't stop crying over the bodily loss of a loved one, Dr. Turndorf's #1 international bestseller, Love Never Dies, How to Reconnect and Make Peace with the Deceased, will show you how to toss out the tissues and transform your grief into joy using her groundbreaking new Dialoguing with the Departed technique that enables you to reconnect and even heal unfinished business with those in spirit without the assistance of a medium, channeler, or psychic. Sign up for Dr. Love's free newsletter at AskDrLove.com and receive an exciting gift, a free excerpt of Love Never Dies. And now, back to Love Never Dies with Dr. Jamie Turndorf.
Hello again, and welcome back to Love Never Dies Radio on Dream Vision 7 and Dr. Turndorf, Turn on the Love on Binge Networks TV, and we're also live streaming on YouTube. Sandy, I was thinking about something. I kept getting this image of people who are caffeine addicts, using the caffeine to supply energy. And I was thinking, if someone's caught in exercise addiction and addicted to the dopamine and the endorphin rushes, it's almost like using caffeine to give you energy. But if you supply the magnesium and your energy production is corrected naturally, that's the natural way to break this addiction, correct?
Yes, so you'll find that people with an underperforming thyroid will usually reach for more stimulants like coffee, and because adrenals are usually suffering when the thyroid is not doing all of its job properly. It's the adrenals then have to pump out more adrenaline to wake you up, to get the circulation going, to get things going. When you provide enough magnesium, it not only supports the adrenals but supports the thyroid as well, and helps your body to produce more energy. So it gradually lifts up. You'll feel results already in the first few days, in the first week, but it does get better and better over months and months, because the body takes up magnesium and gives it to the most important function straight away, and then it wants to refill its reserve tank. So it actually doesn't use all of the magnesium straight away. It needs to fill up the tank first, and then you'll find months and months later other things happen, like you're rebuilding your collagen, your hair, skin, nails, teeth get stronger, it gets harder to cut your toenails. You'll feel the magnesium being incorporated more and more over the months. But the first thing you feel, which is the initial stage, is the calming of your whole nervous system. You feel calm and relaxed. So calm and relaxed, but alert and aware. We also work with horse owners because, funnily enough, horses are very sensitive creatures, sensitive animals, and very prone to stress and very prone to magnesium deficiency. And if they're eating a lot of green grass in the fields, which is healthy, but if they're not getting enough minerals, maybe the soil could be depleted, or they're in a paddock and constrained, and they're not given enough magnesium nutrition, they can get very jumpy and irritated and agitated. And this is a sign of the magnesium deficiency. So the same thing happens with humans, but we see it more easily in animals because it's more objective. When it's happening with us, we don't often realize that we could be having a magnesium deficiency. We even might get used to being grumpy, irritated, agitated, not sleeping well, body acclimatizes. But when you start to put enough magnesium back in, you feel so much better. And then the brain recognizes, well, this is different to how I've been feeling. Sometimes I come across people and they go, I'm okay, I don't need anything. And I said, well, just try a little bit on your shoulders. Well, neck and shoulder, just relax. And after 10 minutes, they're like, that is different. They can feel it. They can feel the relaxation. So we kind of can get used to not being healthy or not being at optimal levels. So I encourage everyone to at least try it and test themselves and see. And coming to the testing, you can't always test with standard medical procedures to see how much magnesium your body holds, because 99% is stored in the muscle and bone. And only 1% is in the blood. So if you have a blood test, it's not necessarily indicative of what the magnesium is in the rest of your body, because your bone and your muscle cells that store magnesium donate it to make sure that your blood supply is normal, always in the normal range, because your heart has to have a steady supply. And so the most important things need to get funded from your magnesium bank account first to get given priority. And so what happens is that we can leave the muscle cells quite short, and then a blood test won't tell you what's in the muscle and bone cells. So we generally work with symptoms. If you've got your list of magnesium symptoms and you've got a lot of those, then that's a good indicator. People can get tissue sample tests done of the magnesium, which can give you a more accurate indication.
You're talking about the EXA test.
The EXA test, and then there's also hair analysis, but then that's 6 months old by the time you get the hair. So there are some problems and inaccuracies in really everything a little bit. I feel the most accurate test is your symptoms. Your body's the tester, and it'll tell you. So if you know what to look for, if you know the magnesium deficiency symptoms, you can go, oh, okay. So even from day to day, if I push my body hard, if I get up very early and I burn the candle late at night, I have to get to a deadline. If I've spent a lot of energy, and I haven't remembered to put enough back, I can start to feel fragility. So my issue 12 years ago was heart arrhythmias. So I control how my body works by giving my body enough magnesium. And I've learned to recognize and become very sensitive to when I'm just dipping below optimal level. You get to learn to do that, a little bit of trial and error, and you get to know your own body better. And so I'm going to be 62 years old next month, and a lot of people that have known me 10 years ago said, oh, you look so much better. than you did 10 years ago. And I say, well, thank you. But I put it down to getting enough magnesium, which helped get my health back on the track. And I'm feeling so good. I don't really feel my age. And that's the trick. It's about energy and metabolism. If you can feed your body what it needs, give it the rest it needs. And bear in mind, without enough magnesium, we can't get enough deep sleep, so we can't get enough rest. And I'm assuming people have a good, fresh, healthy food diet. Obviously, you shouldn't eat junk foods, denatured foods, they're called. Our body has like little factories. Every cell is a tiny little energy production factory, and we need to keep it supplied with good materials, good nutrition. We need to give it enough rest to recover. We need to give it energy to clean out the rubbish, to take the rubbish away. If any of these mechanisms in your little cell factories don't work properly, you can get clogged with rubbish, with waste products that don't come out. That then affects the organs like the liver or even the kidneys. You can get calcium deposits in the kidney, which are stones. Anytime you get crunchy bits in soft tissue that shouldn't be there, they're calcium crystals. Why are those calcium crystals there? It's usually because magnesium's gone too low, because magnesium controls how the calcium works in the body. And as magnesium drops lower, calcium becomes a little bit like a bully. So we need the magnesium to determine where and how the body uses the calcium properly. So we want it to go in the bones to help build stronger bones. And to prevent osteoporosis, to prevent
magnesium is your orchestra conductor. It's responsible for 1,040 enzymatic functions in the body. So you need to make sure you have a lot so it can orchestrate where the calcium goes and all the other cellular and electromagnetic functions of the body, right?
Yeah. So if you do a lot of sport, and we're working now with gymnasts or also gym junkies, because it's a social place, the gym. What I've found from my interviews with my customers, they love to go to the gym not only because of the exercise, but where they meet up with friends that they exercise with. So they tend to over-exercise sometimes for social reasons, and that's okay, again, as long as you put back what you lose. So I'm giving them tips now which tend to be working quite well, which is drink your magnesium by creating a mimic of spring water. So, human beings have evolved for thousands of years by drinking water from streams that come down from mountains, and they're loaded with minerals. And same with horses, by the way. We're used to drinking our minerals, and then that feeds the foods that we forage. They're loaded also with minerals because those animals and plants drink from the streams, which have lots of minerals. But we live in a world today which is mineral deficient. We have to filter our water. Well, I have to filter my water. I suggest everyone filters their water, because today it's full of lots of chemicals. It's full of chlorine, which you can boil the chlorine out if you boil your water, because the chlorine will kill your good gut bacteria. That's why it's chlorine, it kills bacteria. It's why you might clean your pool with it or clean your bathroom with it, because it kills the bacteria and the algae and kills everything. Well, you don't want to do that to your gut bacteria, because you need your gut health for your brain health. It's all connected. So you want to get the chlorine out, even though it was originally put in there to clean the water, and we need to clean the water. You need to get the chlorine out. So filters are very good to do that. If, however, they put fluoride in as well, some communities don't have fluoridation, so they're fine. But if you have fluoridation, I highly recommend you get a proper fluoride filter. It's a very small molecule, and it the cheaper filters miss getting the fluoride out. You need a proper fluoride filter. It can be ion exchange or reverse osmosis, but get that fluoride out, because it's a really, really nasty molecule to ingest chronically over time. As I said, it builds up and it steals your magnesium. So after you filter the water, it's empty water. empty water is not the best for the body. It actually drops a little bit under 7, so it's slightly acidic, such
pH
as
7
rainwater too.
pH.
If you're drinking tank water, rainwater, any demineralized water is slightly acidic, and the cell plasma inside needs electrolytes, and it needs an alkalized water structure, because when the water has an alkaline structure, and minerals help maintain that electrical alkaline structure of water, it functions properly. And if you take magnesium chloride flakes, 1 pinch per liter of filtered water, you can mimic what would be in spring water and natural mineral water. And it gives it a lovely velvety, smooth, alkaline flavor. It brings the pH up a little bit. If you want to make it even more alkaline, you can add a tiny little bit of bicarb soda, or even Himalayan, a whole sea salt, Celtic sea salt, a whole salt.
The gray, not
pink. People that perspire a lot also lose a lot of sodium. So
and
you can make a
we
really
only
nice.
have 3 minutes left, and I know we could talk for 10 years. I want to make sure in the last 3 minutes, everyone knows how to find you, how to find electromagnesium. So now it's 2 minutes. So you got to really hit it, boss.
Yes. So, and put your magnesium cream, lotion, or spritz on the different strengths before and after training, and that will help you recover much better. So you can find us at electromagnesium.com.au, and that's with a K, Electra, the girl's name, the ancient Greek goddess Electra, magnesium.com.au. Lots of articles, videos, information about the products. And if you have a question, you're welcome to send me an email.
Well, that was easy. So a parting thought in the last minute, a message that you want everyone to take away.
Yeah, so if you are feeling like you're not really you, something's not right, listen to your body. Listen and start to feed it what it needs. It's talking to you. You learn to listen to your body's messages, and then you're not likely to do damage. Your cells are like little babies, and they cry and they give you pain and they give you inflammation or aggravation because they're crying for help. So learn to listen and feed your body what it needs, and you will age well with all your faculties. You can avoid diseases, degenerative diseases. Like, you don't have to get cancer, you don't have to get diabetes, you don't have to get arteriosclerosis. You can do good things for your body to avoid those. We are in control of what goes into our body. We just need to be more mindful of what we do.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for coming. It's always wonderful to have you. It's your passion is evident. It's a mission that we both share to really let people know that you can prevent all kinds of things that you think are the inevitable byproducts of aging, all preventable through feeding your body. So electromagnesium.com.au. Thank you, Sandy Sanderson. I'll see you again soon. Take care of yourselves and be well. See you next time on Love Never Dies Radio and Dr. Turndorf, Turn on the Love on Binge Networks.
Thanks, Jamie.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.